Hi all. Right, more 1862. I was fully intending um, just leaving it today and maybe starting to get back to RAF up there. It's getting left on the table. I know, sorry, big glare, but it's up on the other part of the table. And but I just wanted to come back to this again. Um, Even though that last I've not watched through that last part yet, but I'm sure my head was starting to go, what's the different ways, and changing my mind about so many things, and um, whether it was very pleasant to watch or not. I don't think I don't know. But again, I really do these. They're really for to keep me ticking over. If anybody else benefits from these videos, that's fine, And obviously, it's nice to be told if you're getting things wrong, or even if people have strategy ideas or things that I could have done better. I mean, there's so many bits, so many track lays I think I've got wrong in this game. Um, and the tokening of this, I just watched back on was it part 3 or part 4? I was watching reviewing. I'm a wee bit ahead of things, to be honest. Got the recordings, but I do like to review them back. And I was on the LNH activation. It was their operating round, and I says, "Oh well, I could token London right now," and I was like screaming at the, screaming at the film, saying, "Yeah, yeah, do that." But clearly, I didn't do that because then, obviously, that last part, I realised that although I didn't know that rule, admittedly, I don't think it's something I made a mistake with before, but I did think the rule was that I could token London and I could still have my station placement for that turn. But it clearly does say in the rules that if you token London, you can't place another station. So I didn't know that. So whether that was maybe in the back of my mind, but I do remember at one point I actually say I could token London right now, and I choose to, I think I upgrade maybe this or something instead. And I'm thinking no, because I know now we're in a position. Well, actually, this is the last company to run, isn't it? LNH. So if I had tokened London, and the reason it causes a problem is because we've got a 2 freight and a 5 freight, and we need another token further down to join up, because the 2 can only get us to here, and then we'd need to run 1, 2. Well, sorry, 2 could get us to here, and we're looking for 5. No, hang on, 1, 2. Yeah, no, I can't. The 2 has to take us to here. We would have to run our 5 from here, is what I'm saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's just one hex short of reaching London. So if I token London, I can't actually reach it. So, bummer. um, uh, yeah, and I did find that last part was starting to really get hard to decide what to do and things. Um, okay, so we've just got the LNH to run, like I say. I wasn't able to quite squeeze that in on the last part. So what can they run? They've got a 2 freight and a 5 freight. So, like I've said, one, yeah, and I think I could do that. I was wondering about, could I just cut the 2 short and just say that it just goes to here? Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think there's an issue with that. And then I run the 5 from there. At least I don't think there's an issue with that. It doesn't feel like it's wrong, because sometimes you don't need to use the full number of stations up. I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure I've done it in the past, and nobody said anything anyway. So so that would be one. Then I could run the 5 part of the freight train from there. So it would be 1, 2, 3, and then in there for 4. Yeah. See, I'm not even using the full 5 there. So another way of doing it. No, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sorry, 1, 2. Yeah, there's not. I don't think there's anything better I can get rather than running to the west. So running from this port down to the west with my freight. So there's no track upgrades that would really benefit that run. So I dare say Well, what I either do is a token London, or I do a track upgrade that might help somebody else. When I say somebody else, it's oh, we're going to merge as well, aren't we? Right. Okay. I should have actually looked at what where I was at before we maybe started recording here, because that's the other reason I left it, isn't it? Because I'm going to merge with the WSTL, but I can run first and then acquire it at the end. That's right. That's right. And we've got B trains that are going to rust on the purchase in E. Right, they are going to rust, so I'm not going to have the two freight that I've got next turn anyway. So I'm not going to be able to run that, and that's the most frustrating part about it. I could have been making this run just now into London and earning big bucks. And an E train's just about to be, well, whether it's either purchased by us, which won't be the case. And yes, if I'm going to acquire, the purchase trains part comes in the sequence of play before the acquire. The acquire is the very last part of the sequence of play. So it's not that I can acquire and share the money together and then purchase a train. So I can't do it that way. I would have to merge first. But I don't think I've got, I mean, the Whistle's only got 240. I suppose it's worth looking at. 240, I don't think I'm going to make anywhere near what I need. I'd need 500 for the train, for the E train. But is there not another problem with this? Because if I buy the E train, or is there 3 E trains? I think there is 3 actually. So if I bought the E train, he's going to take away the next 2, so we wouldn't actually move into the F. So if I could buy it actually, but then if to do that, I would need to merge the company. No, that doesn't work then, because if I merge and the company that I merge with is already run, then my turn's over. So I would have had to have done it in the WSTL round. Would have had to merge them together then. I'm not so sure they would have had enough money anyway. Because LNH has only got £10. That'd be 250. I would need to earn 250 from this run. And I very much doubt that's happening. I'm going to run 190, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 as 120, 190 and 120. Oh, I would have got enough. Oh, damn. See, there you go. And I remember way back at the beginning of this operating round, I was contemplating merging with the Whistle, wasn't I? Merging the Whistle and the LNH together. And then I would have been able to just run them. I still would have been able to get a decent enough run off them. And it looks like I would have had enough money to purchase a train. Just the timing of things is. I guess I'm still learning. This is only my 4th real game of it. I'm sure some of you out there played the game a lot more than this. So I guess I could still put it down to learning. I need to be able to read ahead to these things better though. But that's what becomes complicated, because I mean I've got 5 different companies now. You know, how do you manage them all and work out when their trains are going to rust? And that just comes with practice, I suppose. Okay, so well, I can't rewind. I'm not going to rewind the way back to the beginning of the operating round to be able to go through all that again. So we're just going to run and then acquire. And the main reason we're acquiring, just to let you know if you don't know, is this is going to rust. admittedly, this is going to rust and that one up there is going to rust. But they've got backup trains. This company does not have a backup train. So it's going to be trainless when we finish this round. And then if you go into an operating round trainless, you can't run. I mean, it could well be that if we merge with this company, we're not going to run this express anyway, because we're probably, well, no, because I can't. Wait a minute. Hold on here. I can still run. Oh no, because I need his money. I was going to say I could still run, and you're allowed to buy. I'm allowed to buy an express train, even though I can't run it. But I could buy an express train, then acquire this company with the express permit, and then be able to run the express train. However, I do need this money, and I'm not going to get this money until I acquire the company, which is then after I can buy a train. So it's all worked out there to make it not happen for me. Okay, and then I'm only going to have 500 odd in my treasury, unless, what did I say it was going to be? Well, let's run. Let's make the run anyway, because that's going to happen. Yeah, there's no point merging first. I do have that right, don't I? If I merge, let me just check that. Yeah, and the rules under 7.5, mergers and acquisitions, mergers, the last paragraph. If the other company has already operated, then the operating term ends immediately after the merger. The resulting company does not operate until the next operating round. Which kind of makes sense, because they've already operated. If I join up with them, it would be unfair to be able to think that I can run them again. That doesn't really make any sense, does it? So it does mean that it's better to acquire. Whereas an acquire, I can run this first and then acquire afterwards. Okay, let's do that then. So L&H, so what's its track lay going to be? I think it upgrades. Oh, that's a point. Because if we keep, well, it depends which company we keep. We could have these both turn into tokens of the company that we keep. So if I keep the L&H, this turns into an L&H token, and you actually get them from the supply rather than from your certificate. You also gain the shares when you merge. It's going to be either or here. He's got 2 tokens left. He's got 2. If I keep the L&H, we turn these 2 into L&H tokens, and they go in here as well. And funny bit in the rules, and I think there's been a bit of confusion about all this. Right, I have to find it. But when you merge or acquire, let's see if I can find this. Hang on. Oh, I'm struggling to find this. I know there's a bit that I read that says that when you merge 2 chartered companies, you flip it over to its non-chartered side. My guess could be that this is maybe just part of the solo rules, but I can't seem to find it. I'm still looking just now. And I think the only purpose of that is that there's spaces for 7 or 8 tokens on the non-chartered side, and I think that's for that purpose, because if we do take these 2, turn them into L&H, there's not really a space to put them on here. I mean, I dare say you could just put them on the side. It's not a big deal. The other possibility for it could be that if it's on its non-chartered side, it's a reminder that the company has merged, although this is a bigger reminder to me. The fact that it's got 2 train permits, I think, that's an easy one to remember. But I cannot find it in the rules. Hang on. Okay, eventually found it. I knew I'd read it. Although I believe there's a bit of talk about this on the forums, and maybe I should go and have a look more into that about what was concluded. 7.5.6 is transfer of funds and possessions, which is in the mergers and acquisitions section. But the very last sentence of that, well, the very last paragraph says the merged company keeps all train permits held by its constituents. If it shows the chartered side, turn the company charter over to show the non-chartered side. So, I mean, it's turning it over. In fact, does it have it in the wee example there? No, I think it's still on its chartered side. So it's not saying it turns it into a non-chartered company. It just says to turn it over. I'm not sure. Like I say, there's maybe more information on BGG about that. Maybe I should have a look. It's not a big deal, really. It's not really. It's not doing anything different. Right, and then it's just, all it's done is took me away from what I should be thinking about. And what was that? Yeah, I was talking about the tokens, wasn't I? Because I guess my thinking was there, it's going to give us an extra token in here. So, saying that, we're not going to have that 2 part of the freight anymore. We're only going to have a 5 freight. So, a 5 freight is more than likely going to run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to make the same run as what it's going to do this turn, I think. And then we'll just need to build back up and get, hopefully be able to buy an F train or a G train, which is a 7 or 8 freight, and then we can run the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and have the token in London. So, okay, so I don't really need another token placed then, do I? So do I token London now and just get it done? Or do I upgrade another piece of track? I think I'm just going to token London, actually. Because that was me talking about it before and I didn't do it. So let's just do that. So this is LNH. So we're going to put a token in London. And that's all we can do. There's no track leads. We can't add another station marker like I thought we could. So that's that. So that's our track lay, and now we're going to make our run. And yeah, like I say, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the best we can get, I think. So it's going to be 90, 190, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes in between. We've came from port, so they're going to count £30 per hex. So 190 and 120 as £310. So that's nice. It's a big sum of money. It would give us 4 bumps, which yeah, we kind of want to do that. Although, were we not wanting money? Oh, we were, weren't we? Why did we hold off on the FDR? Because am I not right in saying we've got £230, and right, let me think about this. Yeah, that's messed up. More trouble. No, there's nothing I can do then, because if I'm going to start, well, maybe I should look and see if I am starting this other company up. I keep talking about it, and then it's just that I need to start the company at £82 par at the minimum. I'd like to start at 90 to be safer. 90 gives you 720, doesn't it? Yeah, 90 would give me, so would leave me 700 being able to buy a G train. I could take a chance and go 82, but that's risky because that starts me here, so it starts me fourth in line, and some of these other companies may well want to buy an F train. I don't know who's going to want to buy it. If I start at 90, I'm going to be in the same position, mind you. I don't know. But to even start at 82, I would need £246, and I've got £230. So it means I really need L&H to pay out. Oh, what am I talking about? I'm getting muddled up. I'm thinking by paying out it means it's not moving up. It is moving up, Grant. Oh dear. Right. Yeah, I want it to pay out, really. I mean, yeah, okay, it'd be nice to have the money, but no, I want it to pay out. There's no problem. What's the problem, Grant? Okay, so it ran at, what did I say? There we go. Don't know what we're doing again. 90 plus 100, 190 and then 120, 310. And that's the L&H, so that's a nice run for them. Oh, it's right along the end there. But so 310, paying out to the shareholders, £31 a share. I've got 3, that's £93. I don't have 7 change, so pretty sure I can do that. So £93. If I take 100, I need to pay 7 back. There we go. Right. So now we've got 300. We've got plenty of money now. We could par the company at 100 now, which might be quite an interesting thought, because then it's going to be second to run. But I'll need to look at that, because I might not want it to be purchasing the train early, because bearing in mind it's going to rust the bees. So maybe I want to get a little bit more use out of the bee. No, sorry, I'm lying. Because the bees are going to rust anyway, right? Forget what I'm saying. It would rust one. We've got one C. It would rust a C. So we need to think about that. Okay. Oh, in actual fact, you know what? WNR are the one with the C, and they're the ones that are first to go. So there we go. That's good. Right. So paid ourselves out. They didn't have any shares themselves, did they? L&H? No. So they're going to move up 4. Because it was 31, so 1, 2, 3, 4, so they're going underneath all this. Well, they're going to be with the whistle and the L&H are going to be right in the same space, 90. So that'll mean they'll merge for 135, which is pretty decent. So I would take them up to there. And again, it's then not going to be the WNR that will go first. It'll be them, whoever I choose to be the surviving company. Okay. Well, they're actually not going to. Well, they might be able to run and have money to buy a train. Okay, we will see. So I've done that. What else? Well, that's just pay the revenue. Purchase trains, he's not purchasing trains. Redeem shares for the bank pool or the Tabo. Not doing that. Acquire another operating company. Okay, here we go. Right, we're going to do that. So, what's the best place to look for that? Let me do it on this printout I got from BGG. Let's see. Merge with another company. It has it as an acquire as well, but it goes through the merge procedure again as well. So let's see what we're doing here. Okay. The operating company may acquire another company at this point. even if it merged with another company at the start of its operating round, or the company to be acquired has already operated this operating round, which is the state we're in. The WSTL had already operated, so that's fine. Acquisitions are resolved using the merge process, which is detailed again below, but the resulting company will not operate until the following operating round. When a company acquires another, you choose which company will be the surviving company and which will be the non-surviving company. Acquisitions may only occur if the two companies are connected by track. So let's just see. Yeah, there's not a problem there. They're both connected, so that allows us to do it. There must be an uninterrupted route between at least one station marker belonging to each company. And it does say, note this requirement is met if each company has a station marker on the same tile. That's not the case, but nice to know. Station marker tokens in London may not be used to trace connections. So the fact we've got an L&H token down here has nothing to do with it. It's these two here we need to but that's fine, we've got that. So what we do is calculate the new stock market price. And the new stock market price is going to be the lower stock market price plus half the higher stock market price. Easy for me to say. And then you round down to the nearest valid stock market price and place surviving company's stock price token there. Right, I'm just going to work this out now, and what I'll do is, because they're both on the same spot anyway. So like I say, one of them would be half, so we get 45 from one. Oh, and the other thing is, if they don't have a train, this would be half before working this sum out. But they both got trains, and that's the reason I'm doing it just now, because this train's shortly to go, and then this company's going to be in trouble. Well, it's going to be trainless. So half of 90 is 45, plus the 90 that the lower companies are, is 135. So I'm going to take both of these markers. We'll leave the W and F there, because I've not just decided which one's going to hang about yet. Sorry, I noticed there's quite, maybe because that cable's tucked in there. Sometimes the table, I'm on a carpet here, this table moves about a little bit, and I know we get a bit of shake. I noticed it was, but I did have that cable tucked into the join in the table there, so I'll put that down there now, that might help. There's not enough what I can do about it. So 135, and then we drop down in the next one, so 134 is where we want to be. And like I say, I don't know if it's a whistle or L&H just yet, but we'll just go through the rest of this before we actually decide. And it says, no, if either company has 0 trains, that company's stock market price is treated as being worth half rounded down before calculating the above formula. Okay, new power price. We set the power token for the surviving company to the highest space on the IPO chart, which is lower than or equal to the new stock market price. Well, that's going to be up at 100, because we're at 135. So again, just before I decide, I'll just put the both of them there just now, and we'll get rid of one once we finally make our mind up. In actual fact, I'm going to have to make my mind up here, because we're going to start swapping shares about as well. Now, one of the interesting factors is we've got 4 WSTL shares and only 3 L&H shares. And what we do is we end up with half of them. So basically half of them go to the bank pool rounded down. So I'm going to end up with 3.5 left with an option. Now, well, if I choose to keep the L&H, there's the shares there. If I choose to keep the L&H, I'll have 3 of their. I'll have the 3 shares still of them. 3 of these shares will go to the bank pool. This one will be turned face down. Now, I can then either. No, I don't have an option with that. That one, I can get the money back for that because it's a WSTL share. I think that's right. So I would get the money. If I'd done it the other way and wanted to keep the WSTL as the company, these 3 would go to the bank pool. these three would stay, and this would become half of an option share. Now this time, I would have an option of purchasing this for half the stock market price, I think. So I could purchase this for half the stock market price, or I could put it in the bank pool for half and get half the stock market price. So it may be tempting to keep the WSTL as the company based on that. However, that is going to cost me £67. Right, hang on. Well, there you go. If I do it that way, I'm going to be left with £256, which means I cannot par that other company at 90 or 100 for that matter. I could par at 82, but that's risky. I'd need to, I suppose, look and see what train purchases I'm going to make. Because if I end up with 80, well, if I par at 82, what is it? 660? Is it 660? 760? No, that's wrong. I've got to take the 180 off. So 820 less 180 is 640. 748. Yeah, £640 I would have. So I'd only be able to buy an F train. So what I'm saying is, when it comes to him operating, if there's no F trains available to buy, then he's in all sorts of trouble. So, yeah. So many things to decide. Yeah, I just confirming about how the option share that you keep, so the half share. It says, if you have any remaining share certificates for the non-surviving company, after you've done the 2-for-1 swap, you swap them 1-for-1 with surviving company share certificates, taking first from the bank pool and then from the company treasury. Option shares in the non-surviving company are swapped this way as well. So I think if there was an L&H share available, and when you start this process, any shares on the tableau, on the top of the tableau, which we don't have any of the two companies merging, actually get put in the bank pool. So if I was to, there you go, see if we had exposed that L&H share, then it would have gone in the bank pool. Then we would have went through this process. Then if we were keeping the L&H, we would have half a WSTL share left, and we could then swap it over for the L&H share. I think then it would turn it, and it would be an L&H share, then pay half the price, and we would end up with 4 L&H shares. I think that's how it would have worked. This it's the one bit in this game that really confused me. And watching a couple of playthroughs, I think the very first Heavy Cardboard play, I think he done 2 different playthroughs of the solo game. He seemed to swap shares about in a way that I was confused, and I think at the end he was actually doing it wrong. At first, if I remember rightly. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, I think rather than so if I've not got a swap to do though, if I've just got this as an option share and there's nothing I can swap it with, then I would redeem this. It would go to the bank pool, and I would get half the stock market price for this. So the other bit I wanted to know was, I would get half the stock market price. Yeah, if I'm buying Oh no, but I'm not. Oh, okay. I think it was, if I'm keeping the WSTL, I'm pretty sure I would pay stock market price for that, half the stock market price as well. If you now have an option share in the surviving company, its value is half the company's current stock market price rounded down. You must either redeem it by paying the bank its value or relinquish it by placing it in the bank pool and receiving its value from the bank. So, yeah. So I'm actually going to, it is half the stock market price, so it would be £67. Yeah. I don't think we want that then. I know we would end up having 4 shares in the company rather than 3, but so I think that means it's the L&H that we want to try and keep. I mean, the L&H home is still, I think the main issue could be as where the home base is, but the fact they're both together, it probably doesn't make much odds. And this L&H, it's a freight and an express. It's always going to want to come out of this port, I think, for its freight run. And the good thing about having both these runs down here is we could run the express, the freight, maybe straight down, and then run the express across and down to benefit, just to score better. Because remember, you can't score the same tiles twice when it's the same companies operating round, Okay, let's do that, because I've still not looked up to see if I'm starting this other company yet, and I was going to go and look into that, but I'm not going to bother. We're going to keep the L&H, right? We're going to do away with the WSTL, so that's going to come away from there, and that's going to come away from there. And what we get to do is, well, hang on a second, let's follow the procedure. We've decided what we're doing. So where were we in this? We've got the new power price. So swapper shares, that was it, right? So like I've said to you, these 3, we swap these 2 for 1. So, and then half rounded down go to the bank pool, and you pick the non-surviving company first. So these 3 WSTL shares go to the bank pool, right? And there. So, and then this one is half, because we had 7 shares, we should have 3.5, so that turns over like that. Now, if this had been an L&H, we would buy it back, and, well, like I said to you, we don't want to do that anyway. So the fact we can either, well, we just get the money back for this, we just get half the money for this. That's right, let me again, let's just go with the procedure still. Swap your shares, any affected shares at the top of a tableau column are included in the swap. We've not got any of that. And if there'd been any other shares in the bank pool as well, they would be included. And I wanted to say the company itself. No, I think that swaps them differently. We've nothing in the company anyway. So, yeah, I'm not going to go through all that. But what we do is we then get half the stock market price for that. So we get the £67 for that, rather than have to pay. Like I say, if we'd done it the other way to keep the WSTL 4 shares, it would have cost us £67. So 50, that's 3 there actually, so let's make that £70. 50, 70. So a bit more cash there. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. And then it does actually talk about swap company shares. It combines and swap share certificates held by the companies, 2 for 1 as well. So it goes through that procedure if the company has any shares. But none of the companies have any shares, so that's fine. And then we transfer funds and possessions. All company treasury money and trains are transferred from both companies to the surviving company. Okay. So we get all the cash, right? We get the permit. That would have ran, didn't it? Yeah, it did. And then briefly we get this train. because it's going away anyway, along with this other one. So we get that, and then it goes on to say, where are we? The surviving company receives unused station markers from its supply equal to the unused station markers from the non-surviving company, subject to the maximum of 7 station markers per company. So the fact he's got 2 there, we take these 2 away and turn them into 2 LNHs. And like I said to you, in the main rules, it talks about turning this certificate over to its non-chartered side, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to remember it's merged. I'm not sure why you have to do that. I've seen a lot of talk about it, so I don't know what the proper reason for that is. Then we remove from the board any non-surviving company station markers where the surviving company also has a station marker. So that's if we had 2 on the same station, basically. We don't. We've just got these 2 up here. Well, we've got the one in London, which is the L&H, anyway, and that's the company that's surviving. These are removed and lost. Yeah, that's fine. And then we replace the non-surviving company station marker tokens on the board with those from the surviving company, first from the supply and then from its company charter. Any remaining station marker tokens beyond the limit 7 are removed from the board. You choose which to remove. So this WSTL comes off and we have an L&H on there. And that goes away as well. And like I say, if you had one in London as well, we would change that over to L&H if it had been WSTL, but it's not. Surviving company retains all train permits held by both companies. Give the surviving company additional permit. Yeah, what you're meant to do here, since I suppose we should do it, it says, give the surviving company additional permits from the supply of the same types held by the non-surviving company. The non-surviving company's charter is returned to the supply. Its original permit is placed in the bank pool with its share certificates. Right, okay. So what you're meant to do, I don't even have the additional permits, but I suppose I should do it properly here. Where are they? That one now? No. Hang on. Here they are. Yeah, I just brought 6 out, and I've never bothered doing this because, well, so it was an express, wasn't it? So what you meant to do is, as a reminder, put an express on that. Because this company can now be started again. If it is, it's started as an express. But again, you'd need to get access to shares from the Tableau, because we can't buy these. I've never, in all the games I've played, I've never restarted a company once I've merged, so I'm not saying it's not something that might be feasible. You never know. There might only be 3 of the shares up there, and you might have, the other 4 shares sitting nicely up in there. That would be good. And then you restart that company as an express, Yeah. I mean, I'm going into this last stock round with still 1 company to start. I could potentially have restarted that company if the shares were there to get it, but they're not. So, yeah, place one of the non. Yeah, and then we're meant to place one of the non-surviving tokens back into the cup so that it can be removed from the game again. But what I need to do with that is, what do I need to do with that? Yeah, actually, I've not done this at all yet. So, not that it's come to it yet, because we're not removing any companies from the game. So let's just zoom out there a bit so I can show you a bit better. These are all the share certificates that I use for the companies going out of the game, rather than the wee tokens in a cup like they suggest you do it. So what we should have had all these companies. Let me just find them: FDR, L&H, WNR, WSTL, and WNF. All of these should have been removed from the possibility of getting removed from the game companies, because these are all my companies. However, now I would then put the whistle company back into the pile, so now it can then now get removed from the game again. So they're the ones at the top they're my companies, and these are the ones that could potentially get removed from the game. Okay, and that's what it talks about there. But like I say, I do. The non-surviving company's charter is returned to the supply. Charter, that's the name for that thing, isn't it? Charter. Let's call it a certificate and things, and not sure what. So we take this up and get some space. Well, we might just be filling that space up shortly, if we do find our company. So that gets placed back in the pile and can be restarted, like I've just said. And that's it. And then it says the surviving company charter. If either company was non-chartered, the surviving company becomes non-chartered. Otherwise, the surviving company remains chartered. So it says it there. This is in this printout I've had for BGG, mind you. This isn't actually out of the rule book. And then there's a last bit. It talks about non-chartered stuff, which isn't really relevant. So it doesn't actually mention here about flipping the charter over to its non-chartered side, but it does say that in the rule book, and I'm not sure why. So maybe somebody can clarify what all that's about. Okay, so that was our acquisition of the L&H taking over the WSTL. They're away. Yeah, we still got some money. In fact, we got some extra money at that because we got that half share, and all was good in the world. Well, it's not really, is it? Okay. Right, well, I think that's everything. So that's us all operated. So let's move all these guys back. And obviously we've only got 4 companies now. That was the last operating round of this turn. So we're now going down at a stock round. And then, however, we did not buy a train, as we can see. So we're going to remove 3 trains rather than the 2, because we did not buy one. So we flip this over, and we're now into that. Tells you the numbers of the trains. We're going to get 6 freight, 4 5 express, 4 5 local. And then when the first of these trains is bought, well, it's not bought. Well, I suppose it's bought by the Yorkshireman. Type B trains become obsolete. Off-board areas earn the highest revenue, so we moved down to the red band, which is nice. And then the train limit is 2 of each type of train. So I've never had issues with numbers of trains. I don't know whether that can come into it in the solo game or not, because and like I say, when you merge, that limit doesn't count. It doesn't count for that. It does mean you can't buy any other trains, because you're obviously you've exceeded the limit, but it doesn't mean you've got to remove trains. But however, that's 2 of each type of train. So we've got to, well, let's finish this bit first. So it was 3 trains we're moving it. So 1, 2, 3. So that is all the E trains away. So we're now on to purchasing the F. That'll go up there for the next operating round. And that's... So E trains have been purchased, which means we're going to lose our Bs, which is this guy up here. Get hold of that. And this guy here. Oh, there's another one, of course. Go this guy here. So that's all the companies only got one train, and you can just see them all there. And well, part of the worry is we've got 3Ds. So I feel like one of them really wants an F train. Ideally. Well, is there only two F trains? Yeah. So only two of them could have it. However, if we're going to start another company, he's going to buy an F train. So it will mean we'll only be able to have one of these companies with an F train. There's going to be a bit more merging going on, definitely, because yeah, it's starting to look horrible, and this is more of a concern, of course, because this is going to rust on an F train getting bought. So we need to remember that, obviously. Okay. So B trains become obsolete. Upward area train limit. Yeah. Okay. So I think we've done everything there. So I think I'll maybe wrap that up as a part. To be honest, it seemed to take quite a while, but the next couple of turns are going to be quite long, I think. I don't know, I mean, things looking a bit better now. I don't know, I feel a little bit better, but having the 3D trains worries me a little bit. Money wise, well, we did merge this, so it's got quite a chunk. This isn't too bad, and I suppose the W and F at the bottom there aren't too bad as well. In fact, it did not work out that they could. Yeah. Well, I'm going to have to sit there and work it out a bit. A better idea for me. Well, we're moving out of stock round first, so I maybe need to think about that first. Maybe I want to actually seriously consider if I do want to start this little local, because that does mean buying another train. I suppose if we... What is there? There's two F trains. If we were to buy the two F trains before, then he would have to buy a G train, which is 700, but we could afford to par it in at that price. However, if we're paring it in at, it would have to go in at 100, wouldn't it? Leaving us, no, it leaves us 820. Okay, 900 leaves us, what? Oh, goodness sake. 720. Yeah, actually, so you could par it in at 90. So I could par it in here or here. So that's where it would come in on the ladder, you know. So if it came in here, to be honest, it would be fourth in line, with just the FDR to run last. However, I mean, look at the FDRs. Got a chunk of money. Yeah, okay. Right, I'll wrap up the now and I'll try and have a wee think of things before I start the record button. Because I'm starting to get an awful dizzy, haven't I? It's good though. It's brain burning, but it's really enjoyable. I can't seem to get away from it now, so keeps me going. Right, okay. I'll be back soon with well, this will be the final proper stock round, where I can start a company, because the one after that you can't start any companies. So, but you can still buy shares and remove companies from the game and all that nonsense. Okay, I'll be back soon. Cheers.